Dracula by Bram Stoker is a Christian allegory that reinforces Christian values. The book explores many of the seven deadly sins, such as vanity and lust, through the Gothic tropes of the supernatural, subhuman, and taboo. Lust is portrayed as a sin that is incompatible with society. This is illustrated through the notion of vampirism, which is represented by the vampire woman. This is evident through their attempt to seduce Harker while he remains a passive receiver of sexual attention in a state of languorous ecstasy. Harker finds the woman both thrilling yet repulsive. This suggests Harker's arousal and sexual repression, which is conflicted with society's view on sexuality as repulsive. Moreover, lust is seen as a sin which is punished by death. This is evident through Lucy's death as a vampire as a result of her transformation. Lucy's previous purity is contrasted with her new voluptuous wantonness, also hinting at her underlying desire for 3 husbands, suggesting a growth of sexual desire and promiscuity. Stoker deliberately plays on the Gothic theme of sex to illustrate Lucy's death as a phallic act represented by the repetition of the noun quiver. This acts as an exchange of power to restore a patriarchal society. Therefore, the death of vampires served to act as the restoration of social norms. By killing vampires, Stoker, an Irish Protestant, attempts to conserve traditional values and religion, which was threatened by the rise of Darwinism. In The Lady of the House of Love, the Countess, who is also a vampire and a femme fatale that preys on gypsy boys using her sexuality, like the vampire woman. But unlike Stoker, Carter's intention was to illustrate death as a liberation and not a purification. Therefore, the death of the Countess is seen as a release from an unwanted lifestyle. Similar to Stoker, Carter plays on the Christian belief of salvation. The soldier is portrayed as a hero. This is evident through the biblical allusion to baptism as he gracefully washes his feet in the fountain, making the soldier invincible and immune to the Countess due to his purity. The Countess is saved when she experiences genuine human compassion, as the soldier will kiss it better. The narrator reminds us that one kiss, however, and only one, worked the sleeping beauty of the woods. However, Dracula is inspired by Celtic folklore to reinforce the importance of religion, while Carter, a 20th century feminist, uses fairy tales to subvert the pleasant dreams of sleeping beauty into the nightmares of the living dead.
Vanity. I could not resist the temptation of mystifying him a bit. I suppose it is some of the taste of the original apple that remains still in our mouths. Mina is portrayed as vain in regards to her intellect and takes excessive pride in knowing shorthand. This knowledge was used in an attempt to make Van Helsing uncomfortable, but she received admiration instead, as he is later referred to her as a clever woman. Allusion to the Garden of Eve shows that Mina is overpowered by the temptation to sin. This demonstrates how even the most perfect woman can hold potential for evil. This could possibly exploit Stoker's mistrust for women, as they are biblical representatives of Eve, who is blamed for the downfall of man. However, in contrast to Mina, in The Courtship of Mr. Lyon by Carter, beauty's vanity is illustrated at a superficial level, as the narrator informs that she smiled at herself in mirrors a little too often, illustrating the indulgence in her aesthetics.
Vampire appetite is exaggerated through the subversion of the maternal role. In the novel, the Blue Lady, otherwise known as Lucy, abducts children and they later return with red bite marks on their neck. Blue Lady means beautiful lady in the Cockney accents of children, which is ironic as it defies the laws of physiognomy. Stoker subverts the maternal role when we see Lucy with the child that, up to now, she had clutched to her breast. Portraying her animalistic craving outweighed the importance of the maternal quality of caring for a child, as she would rather feed on it than feed the child. Carter depicts gluttony through the animalistic transformation of the huntsman in the company of wolves. The wolf's appetite is portrayed as powerful and extreme, as gleaming trails of spittle clung to his teeth. The symptoms of gluttony are an extreme appetite, which is depicted by Stoker through the subversion of the maternal role. Stoker's intention was to subvert the traditional conventions of female, to demonize the 7 deadly sins of gluttony, ultimately achieved through the Gothic trope of taboo.